The outcome of the conversation would decide actively the fate of many million residents of the kingdom. Not just figuratively, literally. Life and death depend on this discourse. Therefore, this discourse has so much potency. Arjun is the real life student, not the ideal disciple. Therefore, Krishna's persuasion has the cutting edge mastery. That's what happened with Arjuna as well. So the Bhagavad Gita is such a real and captivating story.
My question is about life, like how long we should wish to live. I mean, I'm getting a reference from, one of my textbook during my school days. There was a shlok, I don't know from where it was picked up, but like in Sanskrit books, like random shloks, there is a chapter in which they mention, shlokas from different, different spiritual books. So in that, my teacher told me that it is saying that one should wish to live for 100 years doing work. So
that's Vedant. That's coming from the Upanishads. That's not a random shlok. That's an Upanishadic shlok. I think it's the Ishavasya, if I'm not mistaken. Can somebody Google? This is the Ishavasya. Yes. Huh? This is the Ishavasya.
So, my question is, what is that work or karma they're talking about? And do I really need to wish to live for 100 years, given that the current situation of the world? Like every second I'm living, I'm like some way or the other disturbing this whole universe. I mean, not maybe whole universe, but at least the earth.
See, things can never be great once you are born as a human being. They are not great today, and they were not great even then. This verse is around 500 years old. And even then, the seer, the rishi sees that there is a need to live for 100 years. Because that's the time that a certain project demands. You cannot be over with great projects in a jiffy. Or can you? Can you just prepare for the JEE for 5 days and get in? Difficult. So there is a much, much bigger project that demands your entire lifetime. And that project is not the project of happy living with a lot of consumption and self-gratification. No, that's not the project called life. That project is called liberation. Project liberation. I said, you cannot ever be in a great situation once you are born. Because one is born into bondages. That's the Upanishadic view. What is the bondage? Ignorance is the bondage, lack of knowledge. Once you are born, what do you know? Think of the baby, the newly born baby. What does she know? Nothing. And that state of ignorance continues throughout life. We do not know what this universe is all about. We do not know who we are. We do not know what kind of relationships to have and with what particular objects. We do not know what decisions to make. We do not know how to proceed in life. And all that has been cumulatively called as sorrow, dukkha. That's also the Buddhist view. Vedanta and Buddhism conquer on this one. They say the beginning is sorrow. And therefore the end has to be liberation from sorrow. That's project liberation from you. Man when I say man, I mean human beings, is born into sorrow. The world itself is called Dukhalaya, a place of sorrow. And they are not being unnecessarily pessimistic or cynical. They are seeing it. They are seeing that everybody is suffering, and a lot of that suffering is needless. It is just coming from our useless preconceptions, false notions, lack of right knowledge. And that needs to be then removed. Our false notions need to be scrapped. Our superstitions and all the beliefs that we hold about life, we need to get rid of them. And it's not easy to get rid of them, because we got those beliefs from somewhere. There are several supply lines that are delivering nonsense to our mind. So, Project Liberation then widens into the project of liberating everybody. Because as long as those supply lines are active, they will keep draining garbage into your mind. Please understand. If I understand but others do not, then I am related to others in such a way that they will keep pulling me down. They will not allow me to rise in liberation. So the Upanishads say that the purpose of your life is liberation of the self and welfare of others. Now, neither of these objectives is easy to meet. And these two go hand in hand. Your own liberation and the extent to which you can be of use to others. These two go hand in hand, and they are not easy to accomplish. Therefore, one needs 100 years to ceaselessly strive. That's what the verse is saying. You need 100 years. Obviously, if you are charismatic, you might accomplish it in a smaller time, but that does not usually happen. So let's simply play safe and demand the entire quota of 100 years. Chances are even the 100 full years will prove inadequate. So immense is the task at hand. What are the implications? If even 100 years are going to be insufficient, where is the time to waste? Tell me. If even 100 years are insufficient, and you're not going to have 100 years, right? Given the state of the world, neither you nor me will go that far. So first of all, we'll have what, 60, 80 something, if we are lucky. And even in that 60, 80, we spend a lot of time just snoozing and gossiping and idling and wasting in all possible ways. That's what that verse is supposed to caution you against. Even 100 years are insufficient. From where have you found time to waste, son? That's what the seer is asking you, rather reprimanding you. One has to understand the purpose of life before one can understand the meaning of this verse. Life is not for the purpose of self-gratification. Life is not so that you get a cozy job from the campus, or you get into an MS or an MBA program and go out and make big dollars. No, the Upanishads don't forbid that. They say, do that if you want to do that, but remember that is not the purpose of life. If all that happens along the way, fine. If all that aids the process of your inner enhancement, fine. But that cannot become an end in itself. Getting it? When you realize who you are and what you are born for, then suddenly you are struck with the immensity of the challenge in your face. It's a colossal challenge, because we are not human beings. We are masses of ignorance. The Scriptures put it euphemistically and say that it is ignorance that is born, and ignorance that speaks and breathes and walks about. Just an huge bundle of ignorance. That's what a human being is. And that ignorance is sorrow. It's just that we get so used to that sorrow, so acclimatized, that we start taking it as normal. Because you would want to question that if there is an all-pervasive sorrow, why aren't people yelling and shrieking and beating their chests and running somewhere to just give up their lives? If indeed the sages of Vedanta and the Buddha were right, because Buddha said, his first noble truth is sorrow. Sarvam dukkham. Life is sorrow. If that indeed is the case, why don't we find people shrieking and weeping? Because as human beings, we have a very unfortunate capacity. The capacity to get adjusted. The capacity to get acclimatized or conditioned. So if you remain in a particular state for very, very long, you start taking that as normal. But the fact is, what you take as normal is not your nature. There is a difference between your behavior and your nature. Classically, it is called as the difference between vritti and swabhav. Swabhav is your real nature, which remains hidden beneath heaps of conditioning. And we get so deeply conditioned that we lose all, for want of a better word, memory of our true nature. We start behaving as if this daily getting up and washing your face and just going randomly to some place and cheating in exams and then sending spam to somebody or receiving nonsense from somebody and going and just slapping somebody from behind. We start behaving as if all this is our nature, as if this is what we are born for. Well, think of human life, the ordinary human life. Keep the few exceptions apart. What does a normal human being do apart from this? Nonsense from morning till night. And then more nonsense in the dreams. Right? So first of all, you have to see that this is not what you are here for. This is the way animals operate. Living for the sake of absolutely nothing. Go and ask a buffalo what it lives for. It will look at you with great wonderment, rather amusement. What a silly question. Purpose of life. The same kind of look you will get from most so-called human beings as well. You just ask them what is the purpose of life. And you will be wondering whether it is a man or a buffalo you are looking at. The same kind of looks you will get. Purpose? The purpose is to eat and get fat and have sex and produce calves and have some kind of a lord who will milk you and feed you in return. Is that not the life of most people? You will go to some corporate master and he will milk you. Not physically, obviously. And then he will feed you. And you will feel so grateful. You will display your whatever n-figure salary to everybody. And you will say, you see, I am so lucky. But how is that different from being a milch cattle? And there have been certain people who have asked this question. And it is only those people who have really lived on this planet. All the others like us, we are just somehow surviving. They have asked, is this what I am here for? To graze and to be chained and to deliver some output and to be fed in return? You know buffaloes, they cannot even breed at will. The master decides when they will get pregnant and how many times. You must know that that too is the story of most of mankind. Even such intimate decisions are never individual. Somebody else decides all these things for us. And we accept those things consciously, unconsciously. Sometimes we don't even know that we have accepted those things. That is sorrow. That is sorrow. It's just that, because it happens continuously, so we have lost sense of it. The purpose of life is to beat this sorrow. And Vedanta says, Buddha didn't go that far, but Vedanta says the purpose of life is joy. The purpose of life is joy. And if you cannot get to that joy, you have wasted. And that's the reason why those 100 years are being prayed for. Not so that you can have a good time. The general urge to keep just living on, that is called in the scriptures as jijivisha. Jijivisha too guides you to have a longer life. You go to any dying person and he'll say, I want to live longer. No, that's not the kind of desire being expressed in this shlok. Not the usual quest to live a few more years. That's not what is being expressed. Here you are asking for time so that you can complete the project. And the project is not consumption. The project is liberation. And this is called mumuksha. Mumuksha. Mumuksha is the desire to be liberated. Jijivisha is the desire to just live on so that you can consume more and more. The verse has to be interpreted rightly.
So, if I may connect it. So right now, I'm doing physics. And the reason I chose, it was not randomly allocated. I chose this branch. The reason was that I wanted to work for fundamental sciences, to gain more knowledge and to give more knowledge to the world. That was my motivation at that point of time. And I think that's kind of more or less same. So, am I going somewhere in the right direction, or should I be cautious at some point of time?
See, anybody who makes any choice, all by himself, all for himself, is for sure going right. And when in the Indian society, someone consciously opts for science, chances are that the decision is auspicious. Because the Indian society does not really respect science. We have respect for religion and we have respect for technology. But we have disrespect for spirituality and we have disrespect for science. So if you have chosen science, wonderful. The challenge would unfold here on. Can you stick to your guns? Because in the sciences, in the pure sciences or basic sciences, still in India there is not much. So you will find all these chaps around you, they are, walking away with fat packages. And then it will be your moment to be with the with the seer, the one who came to you during your school days. So I've seen a lot of people succumb at that stage. Does not matter the stream you come from. You start opting for consulting or finance or information technology or something else, that's trending. So you'll be tested. And I pray that you pass the test. Not just pass it, but pass it again and again and again, because the test is continuous, and you keep passing it for 100 years.
Thank you so much, Acharya. This means a lot to me. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.